If you've never heard of parts therapy, then this is going to be useful to you. And if you're already using parts therapy, do you love using image-based card decks for parts work, IFS, or inner child sessions, but struggle to use them remotely because of their physical nature? Well, this presentation is important for you because now you can bring the same depth and visual power to your online sessions without juggling physical card decks, webcams, or clunky setups with the Inner States Therapy app. So in this presentation, I'm going to go through a bit about parts therapy, what it actually is, to give people an understanding of how you can actually do this deeper inner work. Or for therapists already familiar with this area, there's extra insights here, and also how to use the innerstatestherapy.com app to help you gain even better breakthroughs with your clients, or whether you're using it for yourself. So this is an app that's all about unlocking the inner change. It is a visual tool for emotional insight, therapeutic breakthroughs. At the end, there will be a special offer for this presentation. So I'm Nigel Edwards. I'm a hypnotist and founder of the InnerStatesTherapy.com app. I specialize in anxiety and stress with my clients, usually on one-to-one basis, but I also have a full library of audio hypnosis tracks and courses. But this is about incorporating parts therapy, inner states, as the key influences of behaviors and beliefs. So I'll be going through what is parts therapy and how to use the app to enhance those breakthroughs. My inspiration is from using the physical card decks myself in the past and from my clients' experiences with their imagery of what their parts look like from their mind. And it's my own journey of discovery. Hence, going through creating this app, it's brought a lot of things to my mind of how this can really be worked. So, whether you're a therapist or doing this on your own journey, this is for you. Therapists will love it because it is a dynamic and digital way to go through the archetype images. There's over 100 images to swipe through for these vivid inner states images. You can group the images that are selected into polarities like conflict pairs, protective roles, the inner critics, and the positive guides. You'll be able to add notes and insights as you go through, and you'll be able to save entire sessions for further work, reflections, or to save it into your own environment. There is AI support in here with prompts that help you to take the journey even further. So if you're doing it on your own, that really helps for bridging the gap between a therapist and the app. And you can use it anywhere on any device, on a mobile phone, on an iPad, on a desktop. And you don't have to load it onto any machine. This is entirely operated within my environment. So it's like your trusted card deck, but smarter, smoother, built for modern therapy. And it's in session and beyond. That's where the uses will come. So visual therapy for parts work, IFS, ego state work, bringing your client's inner world to life, visually, intuitively, and interactively. So there's no printed cards, no messy setup, just a simple swiping through with guided, powerful breakthroughs there. So focusing now on the inner states, the parts therapy side of things. A lot of people, even if you're not familiar with this in specific terms, you can relate to the fact that you have different kind of voices inside, different feelings in different situations. You might be a slightly different person. So anybody, even unfamiliar with therapy, can relate to this. The therapeutic power comes from hearing those voices, feeling them physically, and importantly here, visualizing them to be able to map them, name them, group them, and externalize them for further therapeutic process. So here's a model. The best way to describe the model of parts of us. Imagine a single story house with one front door to the outside world, and only one part of you neurologically wired in and live can be in the executive of your mind, i.e., the interface with you and the outside world. And you may have 100, 150 different parts of you that can be there to interact with the outside world. Generally, we'll have between 10 and 25 regular parts of us that each day we'll be using. And we have pretty much the same thoughts and the same feelings each day. And we get stuck in patterns. So the same kind of parts will generally come out. In the basement area, imagine that there are other parts that are very, very resourceful. Perhaps you've got the shy and retiring kind of person who found in a disaster scenario, they've got this all of a sudden this energy to command and organize and support other people. That's not their usual energy. It's not their usual state of mind. So that's a very resourceful one. Or to find the physical strength to lift something in an emergency. And down in the basement area, imagine that up to one area, there are parts that we haven't heard of for either for a long time, or perhaps they're in a bomb shelter there, and they're afraid to come out because of the fear of being overwhelmed, being exposed in some way. They can be very protective or protected by other parts. So those might have fear, anger, some kind of trauma, sadness, guilt, overwhelm. And there's an example here. There was a guy I was helping, and he needed to do a speech for his daughter's wedding. But generally, to go into any social environment, he needed to have lots of alcohol. Lots of people are experiencing that. They need that alcohol level to feel comfortable, to take away the sensations of being overwhelmed and embarrassed. And we sort out the problem with the part, and the habit goes away as well. So in this case, a great result. He was able to make a fantastic speech for his daughter by analyzing the part that needed that prompt, that substitute in life to be able to get to face the outside world. So a lot of healing can be done with those parts down there because quite often they are exiled. We don't like them. Imagine that you are the company and all the employees within you at the same time. You may have an employee that only ever sees the problems. Oh, this is wrong, that's breaking, that doesn't work. That employee wouldn't be very popular. But we can coach these inner voices, inner states of mind, not just to find the problems, but maybe to find some answers as well. Okay, this is going wrong and that's not working, but we could do this or this to get around it. What do you think, boss? That's how a part should be interacting with you and interacting with other parts to get there. So you could be facing the employee who believes what they are doing is so important to the survival of the company that unless they do that job the way that they're doing it, everything will fall apart. It's like a part of you inside that's self-sabotaging. And they feel disliked, they feel disowned, they feel exiled. So there's a part of you that you perhaps don't like. I hate it when that part of me does that. I hate it when I'm failing like that or I'm overwhelmed. There's a part that feels that it has to do that job the way it's been doing it, or else everything will fall apart. And rather than bash that part further, we want to bring it in and give it the coaching, the resources, the changes it needs to understand how it can do its job better without having to do the self-sabotage. Think of yourself as the team and all the players within you at once, and skillful players able to get to help you towards that goal. But hey, what if they're not coordinated with the rest of the team and the goal has moved? They're now scoring goals in their own goal, their own goal scoring, self-sabotage. So these are kind of illustrations of how parts works like that. So moving on, we've got the visual aspect of these parts as well. Meeting the team is important here because some of them are going to be really positive, like the positive guiding voice inside. They will be coordinated, cooperative, they know what their roles are. But on the other hand, we can have parts that are exiled, dissonant, or unloved. Dissonant being you get the part of you that turns up when it doesn't want to be there. So, for instance, there's the example of a guy who's making regular presentations, has to do speeches and things. And he has a really tough night every so often. It's as if somebody else turned up. He wasn't himself. And that's because a part of him that is much more anxious and afraid of these situations ends up in the executive of his mind. And that dissonant part doesn't want to be there. And it ruins the way his presenter part would normally take command and deliver that kind of speech or presentation. So we have to work out with these parts which one needs to be in the executive at one time. We can have coordination between parts. Imagine the guy who's had the ambitions for a while of running marathons. He wants a six-pack tummy, he wants to be really fit and active. But at weekends, he tends to pig out on all the junk food that's going, and he kicks himself every weekend for falling off the wagon again, doing all of that stuff. And obviously, he likes to have some pleasure from that junk food. And in this particular case, there's a story of a guy who imagines on one hand, he's pulled in one direction, on the other hand, he's pulled in this other direction. So externalizing those parts means that he can visualize in one hand. He visualizes the good, strong, athletic part that wants to do marathon running as a marathon runner. In the other hand, he imagines a happy pig troughing out on that junk food. These parts are at war with each other because they both want to bring him pleasure. And we don't want to deny a part its role. Yes, we can change the role slightly, but how about this part where those parts agreed a coordinated approach together so he could have just what he needed for that junk food, the experience of it, without denying any of that perception of pleasure there. So his marathon man had to say so when that was enough. Happy. So we can externalize these parts with the visualizations in order to work with the therapy, the healing of that. Negative parts that we have by grouping these, you can find you've got self-critical parts, overly protective parts, self-sabotaging parts. In the positive area, you can have a reassuring, coaching, guiding voice, encouraging. Inner conflict pairs, pulling in different directions. I'll give you an example of this one in a moment. Or in a supporting pairs, where they are balancing and coordinating. And of course, there are the more traumatized parts that need specific healing and recovery to bring them out of that fear, anger, sadness, or avoidance. So here's a story on the left-hand side. There was a client who she imagined she had this brick wall character in front of her. And that was stopping her from seeing where she wanted to go, from going where she wanted to go. It was like it was protecting her in that way, stopping her from making mistakes. And through analyzing what that part was trying to do, it was trying to protect her. And obviously, as there are no bad parts inside us, all parts are good with their underlying intention. So that's the important thing. Work out what is the part's underlying intention. And in this case, it was to protect her, but it couldn't see where she needed to go. And in this particular case, she imagined it transforming, morphing into a kind of a controller kind of guy, access to all of the systems and the visuals and being able to process stuff. So a far greater upgrade was received to that part, able to help her to see the way forwards, to plan it better, to strategize, and great results as a conclusion of that. On the other hand, here, there's a guy, and he felt that he was always never good enough. What the work was never going to be good enough. And he procrastinated and he went into the detail, the fine detail, and never got anything done. He was really falling behind. And he imagined that there was a part inside him that was judging himself or afraid of being judged by others. So that judge was overruling. He had a positive part underneath, which had a fine detail, an eye for fine detail, hence the magnifying glass here. These images bring these parts to life. The answer in this case was to bring the level of that judgment down. Better done than perfect was the word that came out of this. So it's good to have that attention to detail to the degree where it gets the work done with quality. So again, a happy result with this one. So these images are there to bring things to life. Onto the app, I'll give you a full live tour of that in a moment. But as an introduction here, you'll see the visual tools coming up here and running through it either with yourself or with your client. It's a case of quickly deciding, does an image resonate or not? And the easy intuitive functions on here, you click or swipe it left to discard it, you'll click it or swipe it right to keep it, and you got the middle button for the recall of a previous image. So the visual images will come up, and it's a case of quickly going through. There's over 100 in here, so it doesn't take too long to get through that entire set. Or you can stop at any time if you feel that you've captured the right kind of flavor on there. Once you've been through the full deck, you then have the chance to review and reject some. So there's bound to be some in the final group that are not going to be so relevant for this particular session. So by going through those, there's also 3 dots on each one. And I haven't named these purposely because some might resonate in a positive way, some might resonate in a negative way. And it's you or your client to give them a name. By clicking on the three dots, you'll be able to assign a name to each one. So you've reviewed and rejected some of the images, and now we're working into the summary time. And by grouping the chosen images into the groups of negative inner states, positive inner states, the inner conflict pairs, and the therapeutic focus. And all of these images can be moved around to group them better by using your mobile phone or iPad or desktop. You can actually move these things around very, very quickly and easily. By adding insights, the notes for this session, you can explore and record notes for what was the particular part doing, positively or negatively, what interaction did it have with another one. So it's very important to keep these notes. And then you have the option to edit it further, save it for picking up later on, or exporting it. And you can obviously print it. By clicking on the Export Save button within the app, you'll be able to export that for the safety and safekeeping on your own device outside of this app. You'll be able to return to sessions with the clients that you've previously worked with and pick up where they are now, how have they progressed, what images are different. To be able to do that, you can add more notes, you can export further, and of course, when it comes to it, you can delete those sessions that are no longer relevant and valid. There's plenty of room in here for plenty of sessions to be saved. My own experience of self-discovery with the app led me to exploring many of my own inner states with this. And by researching and working through with my clients that I had the parts therapy with, it was a really great journey of self-discovery, bringing these images to life. So this inner states therapy isn't just an app, it's a tool for transformation. So whether you're a coach, a therapist, or working in your own inner world here, this visual deck will help you to unlock emotional insights, self-awareness. So in a session, you might ask your client to choose the cards intuitively and go through that rather quickly, group them, say something about their current emotional state, explore the hidden parts that emerge from bringing these visuals to life here. Each one can have a metaphor or a symbol, and that's where it speaks so much more loudly to you than just the inner voice. Yeah. So we can then group them, working through journaling, self-guiding into what that means. Now for the app in action, I'm going to just move into that area and show you. So once you've signed in, you'll have the Access Inner States. There is the Help button that allows you to whiz through a quick intuitive guide of how to work this. There is a watch intro video option on the top, so you can actually see it in action again here. But it's so simple, so intuitive. If an image resonates with you, you click it or swipe it to the right with the tick. If it doesn't resonate, you'll click the red cross or swipe it to the left. And if you've hit the button and you think, what did I do on that last image? You can go ahead and recall it. So clicking them, you can see the images popping up, positive ones, negative ones. Some of them are with just a suggestion of what something might be. Some of them are far more fast for you to explore. So once you've gone through enough of the images or all of the deck, then you can look at the group of the selected images and move them around into the negative inner states, positive inner states, pairs, and you can move them around when you're doing it live. The dashboard shows you the previous sessions that you have recorded, so you can go back in and edit them. I'll go back into this one. And it brings it up. And this is where you'll see that you can actually move things around. So there's the marathon man and the happy pig that I mentioned earlier. There's the judge and whether we want to call that one the judge or the procrastinator or the attention to detail. Again, it's clicking on the three dots and you can name your image. So we'll call him attention to detail and submit. hence you get the name up there. So you can drag your images into positive states, in negative states, and you'll see all the images that you've selected coming up here for further work. So in one session, you might just choose a couple of conflicting pairs to work on, or a specific therapeutic focus. And back to the presentation. The other one. There we are. In the profile and subscription area, you'll be able to see the plans. I obviously will recommend to you to use the pro version with access to everything on here. There is a starter session where you can subscribe just the £1 or $1. You can choose your pricing, whether it's dollars or pounds on here. A starter session just at £1 for monthly subscription for a limited amount of access to a smaller deck and no export facilities on there. The Pro plan is obviously the one with all the features in, where you've got full access to all of the pre-made decks, 50 sessions of tracking, that's plenty. You can export them. There are note features there and the AI support for you. The AI support is currently at the level where there are prompts in there that I've designed which you can take into your own environment. At some point in the later stage, there will be AI completely built into this app. And obviously the Pro plan, price of a couple of cups of coffee a month, which can allow you to have really intuitive, detailed sessions with your clients to go into parts therapy with this tool. And a lifetime access is available at the moment on a very discounted rate of just 114. That's going to be going up at some point, but at the moment you can get it access forever at that rate for 1 month only on this early adopter special deal. After that, the price is going up. And for those that have come through towards the nearing the end of the session at the moment, there's a special 1 month free discount code, 100th month. And by tapping that in at the checkout, you will get 1 month of free access to that pro level. Otherwise, you just get 7 days, which is usually plenty to give you a head start to get through that. Clicking in this QR code here will take you straight through to the app, but it's so simple. www.innerstatestherapy.com will take you straight there. So we've got some questions and answers here. The familiar questions that have come up so far. What does the Inner States app actually do? So it is a visual tool that helps you to explore, understand, and work with different parts of your emotional self. Through the selecting of images, grouping them together, you can really uncover the patterns for that inner work, whether you're a therapist, working with others, or on your own journey. So, as explained earlier, what are ego states and inner states? They are parts of your personality formed by experiences, emotions, and beliefs. And in a situation that you've experienced in the past, your unconscious mind tends to make you repeat the same kind of behavior that worked before. That can become ingrained, and sometimes it's negative behavior. Some of these parts are nurturing and confident, while others may hold pain or fear. Working with them helps bring that balance and the healing. The swipe function, as shown, simply swipe it to the right or click the green tick to keep an image that resonates, or swipe it or click the red cross to discard it. The yellow circle recalls. So it's really quick and easy, intuitive to operate. Do I need to be a therapist or have a therapist use the app? Not at all. You can use this. Now you've got this insight into the parts therapy, you can use it for your own personal self-growth. That said, using a therapist is always going to be more powerful to get through the real good breakthroughs and transformations. And the difference between the different sessions here, the different plans, there is the starter level, which was previously free. We've got basic and pro plans. The basic there unlocks the decks in full and export options, but it's the pro version that's got all of the added features to be able to do the full program on there. How can this app make me feel better? By connecting with the different parts of yourself visually, you can gain that clarity, naming them, organizing them into the parts and the groups, and you can create your own groups in here as well. That's the first step towards healing and change. Grouping them, yes, and you can create your own group names in here. There is no limit on how many groups you can have for specific therapeutic focuses on here. The swipe image part, when you get to the end, you can assign those groups. Is the app based on a specific therapy model? It's inspired by ego state therapy, parts work, and other integrative psychological models. IFS is internal family systems, and I very much honor that area, but I take it further with the proper ego states therapy and parts work that I have been blessed to have gone through. If there are any more questions, feel free to whiz them through to me, and I always like to interact with people using the app or to answer anybody's questions that come. And thank you for watching all the way through to the end. To claim your webinar bonus for lifetime version or free extended trial, that's code again, 100 month or upgrade right now. Here's the QR code, or email me at support@innerstatestherapy.com. I look forward to hearing from you. And if you want to work with me as a therapist, it's nigel@ukhypnosisandcoaching.co.uk. Thank you so much for watching to the end.